Hey love, today we're going to look at bunching on one of my clients' hair, and I'm just going to show you guys what I did to get rid of some of the bunching on her locks. If you have not seen my earlier video on bunching, please go check it out because I talk about how bunching starts, why bunching happens, and so forth. So my client has a very loose curl pattern and she has color processed hair. And with those two factors, and then you throw in slippage, you're going to have bunching. Perfect recipe for bunching of the locks. When you experience bunching in the new stage or while your locks are new, there are different ways that you can fix it. But for my client, her locks are pretty much on the mature side. So the only way to rectify her bunching is to trim her locks. So I'm getting ready to trim her locks and to as I do the retightening. So you'll see me doing retightening and then I'm trimming. She actually wants her locks shorter. She wants to keep her locks short, but because of her very loose curl pattern, it is hard to cut too short without causing more unraveling, which will create more bunching. So she literally wants like a bob where it's really short in the back and then long in the front. But we cannot go that short because the hair locks from the tip of the locks and work its way up to the scalp. So that is the last part, or that's the very last part that will lock. So therefore we cannot go too short. So the plan for this is to just trim her bunching, trim her ends where you see it's really thick at the ends. But even then I can't cut too much because she got that really almost straight, sleek hair. So any little thing will cause these babies to unravel some more. So got to be very careful with how much I cut and how far down the shaft of her locks that I cut. I do want to share that bunching is not a terrible thing. Bunching, as a matter of fact, is very normal. And the thicker your locks are, the more bunching you will experience. The straighter your hair is, the more bunching you may experience. So bunching altogether is very common in the lock industry or the lock world. So when you see individuals with thicker locks and their ends are really thick, that's all bunching because you need some bunching to enhance or propel the locking process. It's a part of it. But when you have smaller locks, most of the time you want a more refined or a more, a more defined, cultivated locks. So if that's what you're looking for, then some people may find bunching undesirable because you want that more defined, well-groomed looking locks. So if you have small Microlocs or Sisterlocks and you're experiencing bunching, you are going to want those bunching to not exist in your locks. But for most part, with people with thicker locks, yes, bunching is very normal, especially if you got that really loose curl pattern. So I'm trying to cut her hair somewhat of some layers because we can't go all the way even because, like I said, the goal is to make sure that her locks don't unravel after cutting her hair. So I am being very strategic with how I'm cutting it. So I'm not cutting all of the bunching off, but I'm cutting most of it off because we want to control that unraveling. And then with each appointment, we will kind of trim as we go, but not trying to do a major cut. And as you can see, some of these ends, they're just really bunchy. And you can see with her curl pattern, you can see that is very loose. So we're just cutting individuals or groups that are together as we go to help give it a more, consistent look. Also, it's hard for her to style her locks because of the bunchy ends, so that is going to help with styling as well. Some of her locks, based on the shape of the bunching or how it's bunched, I will cut it in an angle to reduce the amount of slippage. But for the most part, I'll just cut straight across. But for the some of them, I'm cutting in an angle. One of the ways to help minimize bunching is to put your hair in protective styles and try not to color your hair until you are completely locked, because that's only going to increase the bunching. And when you see the ends are starting to unravel, try to lock it back up, because if the hair starts to unravel and nothing is being done to take care of it, it is going to bunch up. And how much it bunch up is depends on how well you're taking care of it. But like I said, bunching unfortunately is a part of the locking process. So if you have thicker locks and you have a looser curl pattern and bunching is not an issue for you, by all means let it be. But the hair does tend to lock a little bit quicker when it starts to bunch, especially when you have that sleek hair, very low porosity hair, straight to wavy hair. As you can see, my client right there, you see her, there's barely any curls in her hair. So I knew her hair was going to be a challenge because there's barely any curl. Even when the hair is relaxed, you see her new growth, there's not much curls there. Her hair is pretty straight. It is a little bit curlier in the back, but for the most part, her hair is fairly on the straight side. She does not have a lot of curls. So I knew that's what we would expect from her hair. But this is pretty much the finished product after I've trimmed it all over and kind of removed a lot of the bunching ends. She does want her locks shorter than that, so we will be trimming some more, but it will not be every appointment. It will be throughout. And then afterwards we styled her hair to kind of help keep the ends put together and not unravel by the time she comes back. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.